Have you ever met the guy that you wanted to hate, and when you went to pull your straps up, told you to wait? Now let me give y'all a little demonstration. See, I ran into these dudes from the Aryan nation. It was a Friday, my day, exit off the highway, being derelict in the caddy, yo, the flyway. Went to get a package of beaties. I was enjoying this immaculate evening. All of a sudden I heard somebody in the back of us beeping, kind of annoying, like a track is repeating. Saymo harassing blacks this weekend. Well, me and D, we was actually creeping like some G's. We parked. I ain't never sleeping like MDs. Then I felt this crazy vibe, and I'm thinking maybe why. Enter a white crazy guy with crazy eyes and a partner ready to start the Armageddon. F around and get it by the arm, nigga, leg or arm ahead. Don't wanna have to go to war like this was Mecca. I'm only trying to broaden your perspective. But back to the lecture. Remember me and D whipping the caddy when this guy starts jumping on the hood, going batty. He like 35. Turn to the side, I seen a 45. Contemplating maybe I should run and do like 55 MPH. But my knuckle game is NBA. He would've dropped that nickel plate, we would've been straight. He jumped down, hand on this ratchet, but I gave no fucks. A box cutter in my jacket. Did I stutter, motherfucker? I will pull it in a second. Wreck shit, J quick. Hope you a good shot. Calling us the N-word, you know. Thinking he a gangster with his finger on the trigger. His partner thought he was boss and got caught out there.
Peace and love, yo. This is love. This is yours truly, General Pow and Only Shadows of the House of Hip Step at your service, fam. Salute, 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 salute. Peace and love to all y'all hip steppers out there. First and foremost, all y'all hip hoppers out there. Y'all hip steppers and y'all hip hoppers, because y'all make the world go round. Y'all keep bringing that original thinking to the mainstream and to the masses, and you let them know how we get down in the underground, and I love you for that. I'm the General of the House of Hip Step, and I'm bringing you some more news from my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective, available on Amazon and Kindle and paperback, as you can see. But I got a new announcement. The audio book is finally ready, fam. It's finally ready. Finally. Yeah. Finally ready. So give thanks for that. And I'm just excited that the audio book's available, because I've been waiting on that for a long time. And believe it or not, the audio book took just as long as it did to do the paperback. I mean, it was a lot of editing, and it was a lot of, you know, do-overs, and, you know, the audio book got to be right. I couldn't sound corny. I wasn't trying to come off corny. I wasn't trying to come off sounding all too robotic. You know, I wanted it to be, you know, I wanted it to be smooth, because I don't get upset. Cool, because I don't get upset. Nah, but I just wanted to say peace to everybody. Yo, peace to all y'all hip hoppers. This is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely want to shout out the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture. Today we'll be reading from page 157 in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? And this is a section on what if I was white. And the reason that I'm reading this today, because I want everybody to understand that this NGR Exposed channel, right? It's for, it's to help erase racism, and it's to help create a conversation about racism that is healthy. You know what I'm saying? To get us talking about it. Like I mentioned in the last video, we need to talk about it. We need to address the elephant in the room, because racism will not go away through osmosis. So I know that this book is on the origins and etymology of the N-word, right? Where it comes from, and you know, the history of the word itself. But I also included a critical component in the book, and that's talking about the conversation about racism in general, and the idea of starting to, you know, have better race relations between the so-called blacks and the so-called whites. Because I think that now is the time, is the perfect time, you know, for us to you know, get down to the nitty gritty and the root of what's the problem. Why do we still have prejudices in 2023? Why do we still not understand the N word in 2023? Should white people use the N word? You know, is it okay for so-called white people to use the N word? And I say so-called white because, I mean, no, who is white? I mean, you know, you know, pale maybe, paler. But I see a lot of so-called white people that are more like a tan color. I know my colors. Like me, I'm the color of copper, right? Right? I'm the copper colored man, right? Let me see if I can find one. Okay, here we go right here. Had to dig up a couple pennies, man. Look at that. That's a penny. I'm the same color as the penny, right? The copper colored, right? I know my colors, right? I'm brown. From the Boogie Down Productions, of course. Nah, but seriously, I'm brown skinned. So this whole black and white thing, to me, is a trick. To me, it's a way to keep us divided. It's like, you know, I'm the black piece on a chessboard. If we think about chess and games, but let's look at chess, because chess is a game of world domination. It's a game of royal domination, like you know, the quest to rule. You have a king, queen, bishops, rooks, and knights, and pawns, and you have a whole army. It's an army. It's like the chess is like the black army against the white army. So when I call you white and I say I'm black, then now put us all against the chessboard. Now we see. But we're not black and white pieces on the chessboard. There is no black on my skin. It's brown. Right? Most people are white. They're like tan colored. They're white is like the page of this book. If you see somebody that look that the color of the page of that book, send them to the hospital. They about to die. So even so-called white people have melanin and have a degree of a tan color to their skin. So that's why I don't care for the terms black and white. Let's read from page 157. What if I was white? If I was white, I would never use the N-word because I never would want to offend him or her. I wouldn't rap with it in a song. That could rapidly go wrong, son. I'd leave it alone. Pow Shadowz. That's a quote from my song NGR2, Negusa Power. And I start the section off with that. As I stated earlier, on many occasions, I've had white American youth approach me and during the conversation with me, throw out the N-word, with the A of course, almost as if to see how I would respond. I was shocked at their boldness and confidence as they were saying it. Because if it were me and the shoe was on the other foot, knowing what I know now, I would be a little concerned about a fist coming in my direction. However, I've observed that this is not always the case and that certain individuals don't share that sentiment. But in today's times, one may not be too surprised to hear a white American youth blurt out the N-word in casual conversation with other white people or even among their black friends. It's not gender specific. There are just as many young white American females using the N-word as a term of endearment as there are males. I remember my former black roommate's white girlfriend using the word in conversation with me on multiple occasions. One day, I just asked her why she spoke that way and used the N-word so loosely as a white girl. She said it was just how she grew up and who she hung around her whole life. And she said various people in her life were black. In her mind, that was a reasonable justification for her using the N-word as a white person. So that's taken from the section "What If I Was White" in my book, NGR. What does it mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective, written by P.E. McCallum, a.k.a. Pow Shadowz, available on Amazon, and now available in audiobook on many platforms, Spotify, YouTube, many platforms. So, last time that I checked, it's not wise for quote-unquote white people to use the N-word. If I was white, I would never use the N-word because I never would want to offend him or her word. I wouldn't rap with it in a song. That could rapidly go wrong, son. I'll leave it alone. And ask the people what they want to be called, especially if you never met that person at all. You know? Sense ain't too common. Pal, keep it real like rent and 2 ramens. So listen. Basically, man, you know what I always liked? I always liked the white cats that acted like they had some damn sense. You know what I mean? The ones that acted like, you know, they were raised intelligently. Like, knowing what you know, right? As a white person, right? Knowing what you know as a white person. To all the people of European descent watching this, right? Why would you want to use that word? Knowing what you know. Why would you want to use the N-word? See, I know that the N-word comes originally from Africa, and I know that the N-word comes from NGR. And NGR is hieroglyphics, or meduneta, for emperor, king, ruler. That's the original meaning of NGR, with no vowel sounds. Right? Because the ancient language of the meduneta did not use vowels. They used consonants. Right? Without vowels. And NGR, according to E.A. Wallace Budge, an Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary lists over 14 definitions of NGR that appears in the hieroglyphics. And also Philip Chidi Njomanzi, right? The Nigerian scholar, mentions, talks about the ancient Igbo Egyptians and how NGR, it omits the vowels in Ngaori, which means place of God, again, referring to divinity. So, but I do know that it was taken by the Greeks and the Romans, and then it became pejorative, right? And it became, you know, a contemptuous term. As the N word is defined today, it's a contemptuous term. A contemptuous term for quote unquote black or African Americans. Why would a Caucasian person or person of European descent want to use that word, like knowing that today what it has been translated to today, and knowing the history of that word, knowing how it affects, you know, black people, so-called black people, right? So-called black people and indigenous people. Why would you want to use that word? You have to be crazy. You see? You have to have a death wish, or trying to like see if you can get away, trying to be slick, or I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. But I always liked the white kids that acted like they had some sense and shit, and didn't try to, like, you know, throw the N-word around. Even though I know that the N-word originally comes from something positive. Again, I repeat that. I know that. But most people don't know that, and that's why I wrote the book. But these white kids who use that word, right? Like I talk about in the chapter, What If I Was White, in that section in my book, they know better. They know. They, like, you got, you know, they at the concerts and at the shows, you know, and like my homeboy's ex-girlfriend, or my homeboy's girlfriend, I don't know if they still date or not, but who told me that she used the N-word. Why? Because as a white girl, she grew up around, you know what I'm saying, And it's like, okay, that's cool, but she would use it like it's going out of style. And I just didn't understand that. But if I was white, I just got sense. Like, I was just raised with common sense. Then you got white people that say shit like, well, man, where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? That's just how they talk. That's just how we talk. Yeah, that's not how, you know what I'm saying? That's not how you talk, though, in your household. Maybe when you leave the house and you go on the streets, but your family ain't in the household using N-I-G-G-A with the Tupac A, nigga. Y'all ain't just doing that in your household. Man, when you come out on the street, you hang out with your friends and you might do that, but still, it just never made sense to me. I felt like if, you know, any intelligent, and I'm not trying to call anybody dumb, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, to me, if any intelligent white person wouldn't use that word, wouldn't use the N-word, to refer to a so-called black or indigenous person in casual conversation, just, you know, I mean, you know, I've seen, I'll talk about it, but there's more to the story, how some things that I've seen happen because of people using that word, using the N-word, white people using the N-word around black people, so-called blacks and whites. And we're not pieces on the chessboard. It gets ugly. It gets ugly. We're not pieces on the chessboard, though, fam. We're not the black and white pieces on the chessboard. If we want to play chess, we could play chess. But I'm not the black, and you're not the white. These are pieces on the chessboard. I could play the white. You could play the black side, because that's how chess works. It's not like if I play chess against a so-called white person, I'm going to pick the black. I'm black, and you're white. No, it's not how chess works. It's just, those are colors. Those are just colors. You know, people aren't colors. People come from families, societies, and nations. You know, people don't come from colors. You call Chinese people Chinese. You don't say yellow. You know, we say the yellow man. That's not accurate. You know, you have to. There's no yellow land. There's no red land. There's no black land. There's no white land. There's Europe, Asia, Africa, China, and all these things. This is yours truly, General Power, and these shadows of the House of Hips, that reminding you to erase racism. All right? Erase racism at all costs, okay? Love life. Get that book. Much love, fam. I love y'all, man.